Information is power.
All right, let's talk about this brother right here. You know him as Warren Sapp. I want to talk about this brother because he was on the Drink Champs podcast. And man, you know, typically when you see athletes, you just think they're going to talk about a bunch of gibberish, you know, sports and what have you, that you don't always expect that they know their way around history or their understanding of history when it comes to Black Americans in this country. But Warren Sapp was on top of it, knew what he was talking about, and made some really powerful points talking about what we would call hidden history. Now, some of you know this history already, and some of you may not know this history. So this is going to be a treat for everyone who may not know this history, or a reinforcer of the history and why we as Black people in America absolutely deserve reparations. A check has to be cut. Everybody else has been paid that's been done wrong. But in America, we had a Holocaust. We had a Black Holocaust on our ancestors. They put their boot and foot on our ancestors' neck, and we built this country for free. And they did some freakish things to Black people. Let me get into this right now. Warren Sapp, I'm going to say this again. The brother made some great points. I was very taken back by the things that he was saying, the truths that he was breaking down. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, share this video on all your social media, because this video is very important as I'm going to be putting out more and more content. Very, very important that more people see this video today. Let's get at it right here as Warren Sapp breaks it down to you all. Check this out.
My mama told me believe none of what I hear and half of what I see, because something preceded what I saw. So I got an objective mind state, and motherfucker want to talk about Republican and Democrat. Neither nor. Absolutely. Eyes are eye. Eyes are me.
Boom. I like what Warren Sapp said here, because oftentimes people think that we just supposed to vote for either the Democratic Party or the Republican. Either party, both parties have problems. Now, you know, the Democrats were the Dixiecrat party of the Ku Klux Klan. They actually jumped ship, those Southern Democrats, to the Republican Party. So they just switched positions, but they're the same birds of two wings. The Republicans have issues. They don't do nothing for us. The Democrats take us for granted, even though we vote for them at 80 to 90% centile. No other group does. And we're so loyal, but they're not as loyal to us. Both these political parties have to do what? They have to show us something. What are you going to do for us? Tangibles, the whole 9 yards. This is what Sharp is talking. This is what Warren Sapp is saying, not Sharp. Warren Sapp is saying. And let's get back to the brother.
Sell me you, and then if I can vote for you, you might get my vote. If not,
Right.
then go fuck yourself.
Boom. That's the attitude I think that we all need to have. We need to have a go F yourself type of mentality when it comes to these greedy politicians knocking at our door, only showing up around election time. Warren Sapp, the Hall of Fame defensive tackle, is telling truth here. He's telling the pebbles of truth, and there's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. The man is keeping it 100%. Let's get back.
I don't know what rules you got that say I can't vote for you, but that's what you get. So be it.
That's good. Let me change the subject up a little bit, because we talk about voting.
I'm here.
And right now,
they gutted the motherfucking Voting Rights Act.
Oh man, they took it back years.
We've only hold on.
Hold up. Listen to him.
We've only been a democracy since the Voting Rights Act passed.
Now what Warren Sapp is saying here is on the money. Remember, everybody, as you look at this right here, the Voters' Right Act was in effect for over 60 years, signed into law on August 6, 1965. Also, keep this in mind. A lot of people in this country have been riding off the coattails of Black Americans, because when that was passed, that opened up the door for more immigrants and more people to come over here and take part in a what we call so-called democracy, right? And so people have ridden black people's coattails for years and years. And this is why people are getting upset, because black people are saying we're not taking. I'm talking about black Americans. We're not taking anymore. We're going to delineate. We're going to claim what's ours, because folks have been riding on it. That Voters' Right Act was a big deal for black people back in those days, because that gave us the right to be what? To engage in the franchise called the voting, and putting in people to serve us. Even though the Congressional Black Caucus hasn't done much for us lately, this is what it was supposed to do, because black people back in those days were disenfranchised. Let me let you hear some more from Warren Sapp about this, but this is the facts about the Voters' Right Act, signed into law August 6, 1965. Let's go.
That's it. That's it. Ruby Bridges is still alive.
I don't think people understand what you're saying.
No.
People don't understand what you're saying.
Ruby Bridges.
No. That's it. Because before then, we were never.
But nobody understands that.
They do. But they don't want to acknowledge it.
That's the thing.
Because that's the truth.
Ignorance is bliss.
No, it's not.
No, it's not bliss.
Ignorance is part of the crowd. Yes.
Part of the crowd. Now, Warren Sapp is as right about this as waking up on a Sunday day, waking up and going to work, putting on your shoes, and he is right. He is as right can get. And see, other groups of people don't know our history, everybody. This drink champs, where they get up there on this podcast drinking and shooting the breeze about a bunch of nonsense. And usually they got rappers on there and other entertainers. They don't really be talking about nothing of any importance. What you're going to learn is that a lot of these guys on the drink champs are not that up here in terms of history. And it's kind of sad, because they get on this podcast talking all kind of stuff, right? Don't know history. And here you got a football player, which usually we would stereotype and say, hey, he's an athlete, he doesn't know anything. Now, Warren Sapp's not trying to be a leader, because we know Malcolm X told us not to listen to trumpet players and entertainers to lead us. He's not trying to lead. He's simply bringing up the history, a history that some people don't know, need to know. And a lot of these guys on this show didn't know nothing, because Ruby Bridges, let me just bring her up here. This wasn't that long ago, okay? Let me just bring the young lady up here. It wasn't that long ago what happened to this young lady, a young girl who was being integrated into a school where white folks didn't want her there. Racism was an all-time high, has always been an all-time high. They didn't want her there. And I always wondered in my own mind, why did we put black young kids in these schools and think that they were going to get a square deal education? That's the minute that education broke down for black kids. That's when they start labeling our kids hyperactive and all these different dysfunctional things. That's when you have the school to prison pipeline starting. The minute we start putting our kids into these schools where they did not want us or wanted to teach us, I just never understood that part of the history. Why did we think we were going to get educated by those who hated us by going to their schools? And so they hated this young lady. They hated on her, Ruby Bridges. They hated on her terribly, and she's still alive today. This whole thing around Voters' Right Act ain't that old, y'all. It ain't that old. This sister is still alive today, and look at what they've already done. Then does that mean that we can't vote? Yes, we can vote, but does that mean that our vote will have the same power to be able to vote the people who look like us, who have our interests in mind? And let me just tell you right now, I got to be honest. Some of the black folks that we have voted in office, the Clyde Burns of the world, the Cory Bookers of the world, the Hakeem Jeffries of the world, they haven't done nothing for black people. When we have been able to put people that look like us in office, it's really a shame. Let's get back to Warren Sapp here.
Ignorance is, I don't want to dictate. I want to eliminate black books and black history and the truth about what it really was. I want to eliminate the Jim Crow South. I want to eliminate the word picnic. Pick a nigga to hang.
Is that where picnic comes from?
Yes. Now, how many of you out there, as I get back to that, are familiar with the term picnic? It's pick a N. They would have elaborate. They would have a day where they would auction off black people into slavery. They would go out there with their kids and their family, have food. That's where it comes from. Have food in the park, lay out on their blankets, and go pick a you know what, auction off, buy a slave, make fun of, do all sort of horrible things to. This is what the word comes from. How many of you out there who did not know this or are surprised by what you've just heard me say and what you're going to hear continuing out of the mouth of Warren Sapp?
Didn't he? You killed him.
He's talking about, you don't say the word.
They didn't teach you that. You know they used to take fingernails and ears and pieces off the brother?
Oh my
little
God.
girls and kids at those hangings. Look it up. They put.
No, I knew about all of the
No. Look it up is correct. Here it is. I want everyone looking at this video to examine this picture. He is right. Warren Sapp is telling the God's honest truth right now. And the truth is completely in him. As you see on this photo, these are white men. They just deleted the life of a black man. The kids are out there. They have smiles on their face. The kids are out there. This is how you continue the generational racism and white supremacy. And you can see what's unfortunately hanging there as Billie Holiday talked about strange fruit hanging on the tree. This is what was happening. And here you got a podcast, Drink Champs. They have no idea. But Warren Sapp is going deep with the history here.
If you knew that they was there and witnessing it, then they were telling them it was okay, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So they took souvenirs. A lot of them, they chopped off the penis, took fingernails, ears.
The word picnic, that's
Pick a nigga to hang. Yeah.
Wow, bro.
You didn't know that?
No, it's the facts. It's the facts. They would take souvenirs off of the remains. And you know what I'm saying here. I want to be, YouTube has a way of, they would take things off the remains of people that were deleted. And you know the rest, everybody, just like Warren Sapp said there before you all. Just as he had just mentioned there. Let's get back.
I didn't know that one.
I got one. I got one for you, New York.
That's wild.
What was the largest plantation in the original 13 colonies? Brooklyn, New York, man.
The North was
Brooklyn, New York.
I didn't know
Brooklyn, New York. You know there's jail cells in underneath
That's true.
Wall Street?
That's true.
We were the first stocks and bonds and commodities that was worth something in this bitch.
Wow.
Because I get to own you for the rest of your life.
Wow.
And her for the rest of her life. And you and her fucking and having kids, I get them for the rest of their life.
Wow.
We were the first commodities. There was no stocks and bonds.
That is.
Yeah, the truth.
You know the Statue of Liberty has chains on her feet?
Now, let me go ahead and do this, everybody. Let me go ahead and do this. We're going to get to the Statue of Liberty part that he's about to say. I want to make a small correction in what Warren Sapp just said there, because he said some things that has facts to it, but then the numbers that what he says, I gotta do some correction. This is status correction right now. Now, right here, the scale in Brooklyn, at one point in time in Brooklyn, New York, it was called Kings County. Yes, they did have slavery, but they were not the largest slave plantation in the country at the time of the 13 original colonies. Okay. It was an agriculture powerhouse and had a very high rate of slave ownership. However, these were relatively small scale commercial farms, not massive plantations. In the early 1700s and early 1800s, the largest individual enslavers in King County held only about 15 to 20 enslaved black people. So yes, they did engage in slavery. And this is the North. Everybody thinks that slavery only happened in the South. No, this was happening in the North as well. Now, let me make a correction. Status correction is very important here because we got to tell the truth. and I'm going to tell it. And the truth is this. Virginia being one of the original slave colonies, one of the first, you got North Carolina as well, is where you had the largest number of slaves overall. At about 490,000, they had the largest enslaved population. However, the South, as you may already know, had the largest concentration of black people enslaved in labor. So the labor force in this country, as you know, was in the South, and the largest number of that population doing labor in this, that's the largest it was the largest. Whereas you had the big numbers in Virginia because they were bringing them into the first colonies, and then they were doing what? Spreading them out to the other parts of the country. Now, another thing you need to know is that the state of Maryland, where I was born, was considered a breeding colony where they would bring slaves to Maryland and force them to, man and woman, to have sex, to have more babies that they could sell into, they could put them into slavery, because we were considered the first stock exchange. We were a commodity. Now, let me get back to what Warren Sapp was saying right here, because he's getting ready to talk about the Statue of Liberty. But I just wanted to move this back just a little bit and let you hear this part. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell of notification, share this video on all your social media. You can find me on X. You can find me on Information Man Show on Facebook, Instagram. Also, I'm on TikTok as well, Twitter, whatever we call it. Make sure you go over there and check out those areas as well. Let's get back to what Warren Sapp was saying right here.
Underneath the Wall Street, we were the first
Commodities.
bonds and commodities that was worth something in this bitch.
Wow.
Because I get to own you for the rest of your life.
Wow.
And her for the rest of her life. And you and her fucking and having kids, I get them for the rest of their life.
Wow.
We were the first commodities.
Right. Didn't I just say the same thing that Warren Sapp was saying? But where the breeding took place, unfortunately, was in the state of Maryland, as we know it, where that whole operation was about breeding more slaves, or having more slaves, more babies to be born into slavery. This is why America owes black people a complete reparation. Anybody that's telling you any different, you got to look at them with a side eye, because something is wrong with them. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Now let's get back to him.
Stocks and bonds.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
You know the Statue of Liberty has chains on her feet?
I didn't remember that.
They won't tell you this.
These guys just don't know history.
I don't know.
Because it was supposed to be about the slave being freed here in America.
Now let me stop it right there. Man, it's crazy. These guys have these big old podcasts. They get a lot of views. And they don't know history. It takes an NFL Hall of Famer, who many of us probably wouldn't even know he knew this, to school these guys. Let me school them some more. Check this out. Let me take this off of here, and there we go, y'all. Yes, there is historical truth to this. The Statue of Liberty was initially conceived in 1865 by a Frenchman who was an abolitionist, who didn't believe in slavery. At least that's what they told us, to celebrate the, them abolishing slavery in the Union victory in the Civil War. So it was about liberty, everybody. It was about black people getting liberty. But we know that we didn't get any justice, and they put us into what we call Jim Crow and black codes and horrible things that took place. They reneged on the 40 acres and a mule. And when you had black men in government in South Carolina during the Reconstruction period, they had to get rid of that, stop that, because black people were doing too well in South Carolina at that time in terms of getting things going for themselves. They had to stop that. They had to completely stop the Reconstruction period. Now, let me let you know something else here. When Warren Sapp is talking about the chains on the bottom of the Statue of Liberty, because Professor Jeffries, who has passed away, may he rest in power, talked about that the original design of the Statue of Liberty was technically of a black woman breaking the chains of slavery. It was supposed to be about liberty and respect to this country, abolishing slavery. It had nothing to do with this whole thing about immigrations and bringing all the people around the world. They changed it to that when originally they rejected the image of a black woman and rejected the idea of it being about a celebration for black people for this country abolishing, or at that time, what we called a slave system. They couldn't handle that. That was the original. Now, let me go back and show you this. The broken chains, the most concrete evidence, is located at the Lady Liberty's feet. She is standing over a broken shackle in a snap chain, which are largely hidden by her robes. So they were hidden under the robes. These were specifically included to represent emancipation in the end of servitude, being a slave. Now, when the statue was redesigned, they had to get rid of all of that. So what you see in the Harvard is not what it's supposed to be there. You're supposed to be looking at a black woman breaking the chains of slavery. Let me go ahead and go back to my man Warren Sapp once again.
So when the French gave that, what was the reason for the chains?
Slaves being freed in America.
That was them protesting us? Or that was
It
them?
was a symbol that said the Lady of Liberty.
Right.
Is it?
Freedom.
Freedom,
This is
man.
the land of the free, home of the brave, but they just lied to us.
They lied to us completely.
No, they just lied to us. There's no hypocrisy. It's right
just
in
lied.
front of you.
Right.
They actually doing insider trading now in front of you and not giving a fuck.
Absolutely.
Facts.
I mean, a dude made a bet on the Venezuelan president being arrested.
The whole government's making billions.
No, government my ass. This private entities. They're alerting their friends.
That's
Government,
facts.
the back end of it with the drones and the defense contracts and all that shit. You can see that. That's easy.
That's facts.
But when you're betting on the price of oil and $1.5 trillion move before the fucking stock
When I say
market.
girl, I'm talking about the individuals in it. They are in.
These guys on Drink Champs are not that with it up here. Warren Sapp cannot be any plainer than what he's saying. The man is saying it plain. What's wrong with these guys? He's breaking it down. What's wrong with these guys?
trading.
There ain't more than 5 of them. Trust me.
So,
Ladies and gentlemen, boy, man, some folks got to go back to school. Now, look, the last part of what he said is true. If you think about it right now, and you look at the Donald Trump administration, it's mostly billionaires that have put money in his coffers for his election. These are not these people he's talking about that are making the money off the commodities and all the things that are going on. These are not people that are actually in government. These are billionaires. These are rich individuals who can manipulate the politicians. Because the politicians are like whores. They depend on the money to get reelected. You got Peter Thiel, who's now fleeing America to Argentina because why? Does he know what's about to go down? You've got all these billionaires that are getting rich off the system. Trump and his family are enriching themselves. Every time Trump passes but makes an executive order that has to do with financial issues, all of a sudden people in his orbit, his circle, are making money off the stock market. The Ponzi scheme that it is. So what Sapp is saying,
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth,
and I'm going to tell it. He's telling the God's truth. No doubt about it. These are all facts. Everybody, I want to thank you for watching this program. Do me the biggest favor and share this video on all your social media. Share it with your family, your loved ones, people that you care about. Tell them about the channel. If you like this content, want more content like this, hey, keep coming over and watching and sharing. I appreciate you. I also want to say to some of the new subscribers, thank you for subscribing to the channel. And we're going to keep this whole thing going. I really appreciate everybody. Everything that we're trying to do here to make this channel, because I want to put out more and more content and what have you. This is what it's going to be all about. Putting out that content, getting that content out there. And everybody, let me know what your serious thoughts about what Warren Sapp said. Did you know this history? Did you not know this history? Be honest. And man, these podcasts that be on YouTube and they get all these views, a lot of these cats on these podcasts that are well-known individual podcasts, they not that astute with the history at all. With that said, everybody, I want to say thank you. Thank you. Peace. Take care.
I gotta let her know that she my white horse, she my medical. She like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems, you gon' regret every day. So I let her know, gotta let her know. Came through the front door, I'll be ready for her. And if it's what you want, I'ma give it to you.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV. BS3 Network is now on Roku TV under BS3 TV. Download today.
Tell the truth. Must be heaven sent. Pray my soul, I must repent for not telling you what I meant and how I felt. Honestly, I'm used to throwing wishes in a well. My conscience tells me that I could have helped without fail. Actions speak louder than words, and that's a lesson that I learned all by myself. Let her know, I gotta let her know that she my white horse, she my medical. She like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems, you gon' regret every day. So I let her know, gotta let her know. Came through the front door, I'll be ready for her. And if it's what you want, I'ma give it to you. Yeah, promise, I'ma give it to you. Feel it, baby, stress it.